good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of LKD Talks. My name is Emmanuel LKD, and let's unplug and be real for a sec. Now, today we got a very special guest. He is a teacher by day, hip hop artist by night. Please welcome Casey. Yeah. Woo.
Super excited to be here, man. Well, thank you so much, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing very, very well. I'm excited to be here. This is something that we've been talking about for a couple of weeks, so it's good that we were able to find some time to do this. And I'm thankful that you thought about me for being able to come on the show. And man, I just got a lot of love for what you're doing and how awesome you're being and authentic. And I'm excited to be a part.
Hey, let's go, man. Love that. I love to hear that energy. All right, Casey. So, who are you? What do you do? And why do you do it?
So I'm like you said, teacher by day. So Mr. Edwards by day. I teach seventh grade social studies. This is my last few months doing that though. I'm going to transition into teaching high school history. So super excited about that. But also Christian rapper named is KC. Just my nickname is KC. Like my nickname is my first name is Katori. My middle name is Christian. So KC. And so when coming up with a rap name, everyone calls me KC. And so we decided to go with the K and then C, SEE, because seeing the spiritual attacks that the devil tries to go and looking into what God has. So KC came out of that, and that's my rap name.
Oh man, that's awesome, man. So just to add on the other question, why do you do what you do?
Um, I do what I do. At first, it was just I won't say for fun, but it was more so fun doing music. And got into teaching because I have just a heart for younger kids. And when I say that, some you got to be careful what you say because if people are like, "Oh yeah, I love younger kids," like, whoa,
Hey,
that's kind of
yo,
weird.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I love being a part of sharing my life and everything that I've been through with younger kids, especially, and things that I've battled, things that I've fought, things that I've overcome, and being able to shed the light, not just of Jesus, but just the goodness of God into young kids' life. And that's why I do the music that I do is because there's just so much evil content that's out there and so much just kids that are having the wrong examples in their life. And I want to be that light, that example, that man of God that Christ has, placed on my heart for these young children so that they can see Jesus through me. That's why I do what I do.
Mm, that's good, man. That's good. So speaking about examples, did you have any examples growing up when you were a kid that you looked up
Yeah.
to?
So I'm the oldest of six, so it's crazy. So I have to be, in a way, the example for my family. But I got blessed that my dad is probably the best man I've ever met in my entire life. Him and my mom have a very healthy marriage. They've been together for like 27 years. And
So,
Jesus has been the foundation of their marriage the whole time. And so being able to have those two as examples really helped me even when I was part of my testimony is I was like a huge hypocrite and me and my parents didn't get along very well. They still loved me a whole lot. They still supported me. They were still praying for me and there for me. And so seeing that example in my life really helped me be like, yo, when I grow up or, when I have my own family or get married, I want to be like my dad. I want to love my wife. I want to love my kids. I want to be that man of God that they need. And so I'm thankful for my parents. I truly, truly am, because there's some people that don't have good relationships with their parents, or they don't have their parents in their life at all, especially their father. And so for me, being able to have, especially a really good father figure, a godly man, that's for me, it's awesome. I can't tell you how many times people have said, like my fellow friends, like, man, I wish I had a dad like you, or, what I'm saying, I wish I had someone to look up to, like the way you look up to your dad. So for me, that's awesome. I'm very thankful to have that.
man, awesome. Thanks for sharing that, man. That's such a blessing to have that. Yeah, man, because looking back, I'm really grateful for my parents. They both really love each other. They both have
Yeah.
Jesus as a foundation. And it's just sometimes I do take for granted what they've given me. You know what I
That,
mean?
yeah. It's something that you don't really think about, like, man, I have two parents that really love each other. You know what I'm saying? And someone may not have one, or someone may not have both. And, it's super easy to be like, oh, it's just mom and dad. But it's like, wow, like they
Mm.
really love me, and they really care for me, and they've provided for my every need. You know what I'm saying? From clothes when I was younger, food, time coming to my games, coming to my events, just those different things, my graduation, like those things we usually take for granted because like, oh, they could come anytime to my game, but it's like, wow, they're really taking time to support me. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
that stuff is awesome.
man, it really is, man. Whew, man, just getting all sentimental in the morning right now, man.
No, facts. Facts.
It's good though. It's good though. Yeah.
Great feeling.
Yeah, man. It's a good way to start off this show, just being grateful and just having gratitude. And for
Yeah,
anyone
facts.
listening who has, who still has both of their parents, be grateful, think about what they've done in your life and think about all the blessings that they've done for you as well, because it's it's just something to
Huge.
not take for granted. It's huge. Yeah, right. Yeah, what you said. All right, man. So shifting gears now about how you first started making music. You said you started out for it to be fun, but what was the catalyst for what jumps you into motion to creating music?
So music is a huge part of me. I play the drums for my church. And I've been playing the drums since I was like 10 months old. So
Mm.
just hitting, someone would have me on their lap and they'd be hitting the kick, and I would just be trying to pick up what I just heard them play. So music's always been a part of me. And then I would make some freestyles here and there, but it would just be for fun, and it would just be for like a school project or something like that. So if, make a rap about biology or something. So I
Mm.
do that. And when I got to college, me and my friends, we were just joking around and we were freestyling or whatever. And they had a beat playing. And so I was just doing something stupid and doing that. And they were like, yo, this is actually pretty fire. You should record. And I was like, all right, cool. So I like hit up this guy that he's recorded for people like in our city. And so I was like, yo, like, can I come? He was like, yeah, this is the rate, what I charge. I was like, cool. I made some songs for like a week. I wrote like 3 songs, when I recorded it. And I was like, bet, I'm gonna put this out on YouTube. And so I did. I put it on YouTube, and I had like 500 views in like,
Dude.
like a year. But it was like, oh my God, 500 views is crazy. Ah!
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do this seriously in a way. Like my dad was like, yo, you should really just release like a project. You've been working on a lot of songs, just release a project. So that's what I did. I found out about DistroKid. I uploaded it on DistroKid and released this like 7-song EP that was like mix and master by myself. I didn't know what to do with that. I just knew like if it sounded decent in my headphones, I was like, oh, okay, people will be able to hear what I hear, so it'll be okay. And I released it, and I thought it was gonna go crazy. I was like, oh yeah, like I'm a Christian rapper that's doing something different, so it's gonna blow up. And it didn't, and it still hasn't blown up. And I still don't listen to it to this day. I love the lyrics, what was said, but the quality, like just the mix, it's just trash. So yeah, that's what got me started. Just freestyling with some friends, and they were like, "Yo, you should record." And so that's why I started doing music.
Oh man, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. So what inspired you to keep going after that though?
So I took it seriously in 2020. That's what helped me start taking it seriously. The pandemic happened. So I was working and school was online, but I needed something else to do. I couldn't go play basketball, which was what I would usually do. Couldn't hoop. I was tired of pretty much putting money into music, but then we were getting a stimulus. So I was like, oh, okay, if I'm getting a stimulus, I might as well put the free money that I'm getting into music. So that's what I was doing. I was putting money from the stimulus into music. And it really helped that year I made in August, I had dropped What's Up, and I didn't think it was gonna blow up the way that it did. But in like the first week, I got like 10K streams, and that was the first time I ever had a song do that well. And so I was like, okay. And a lot of people were like, yo, this song is amazing. I was like, let me try to take this more seriously. So then after that, every single thing I did was to take music more seriously. Every single song was, there are some songs that are like for fun that I've done for sure, but with the mindset of I'm taking this seriously, so I'm going to invest into it. So that's what I've done.
Man, that's amazing, man. Yeah, and What's Up has 500K streams now.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
almost. And so yeah, man. So it's pretty tough. I never in a million years thought that a song would have that many streams. You know what I'm saying? And to see it and people, I can't even tell you the hundreds, thousands of people whose lives that have via me or have said something on TikTok or an Instagram comment or YouTube comment, just like this song has touched me. This song got me into Christian rap. I, stopped listening to secular music because of this song, because of you. Like for me, that's the biggest blessing ever. Like bump the stream numbers, bump that. When people say that, that to me is the ultimate goal, because that's, like I said, that's why I do music in the first place. And to see that is huge for me, huge. So yeah,
Man, that's big, bro. Yeah, that's big. Congrats on that again, man. Big
thank you. I
congrats.
appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. As a fellow artist yourself, you know what I'm saying? People give, fellow positive feedback back. It's like, wow, it's like I really am doing something good. I'm making a difference. Someone liked this song, or this song resonated with them. I'm making a difference in that person's life for just maybe that 2 minutes or 3 minutes of the song, but I'm doing something that no one else is doing right now, you know?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It's amazing. And I love too that something I've noticed too with your artist journey is that you're very honest and you're very open and vulnerable. And even in songs preceding your newest song, Mary and Mosby, you've always been open about, overcoming porn addiction or battling it. And real quick, let's actually talk about the song Mary and Mosby. So what inspired that?
So I posted about it. So when I was 16 years old, backstory, when I was 16 years old, I was sexually molested by a very close family friend. I'm talking about knowing this person since I was like 5 or 6, honestly. And we would spend the night at this person's house. This person's kids would come to our house, and we hang out, birthday parties, church movies, church events. Like this person's our church. And this person was also my youth pastor at the time too. So that was like crazy. And at that time in my life, I was really on the fence about living for God. So I've grown up in church all my life. I had accepted God at a very young age, but when I got to high school, in a way, I wanted to fit in with everybody else, and everybody else wasn't living for Jesus. And here I am, not very strong in my walk with the Lord, because my relationship had always with God had always been about like what my parents had instilled in me, but not what I had instilled in myself in my walk with the Lord. So when you're very fragile at that time, the smallest thing can offset it. And so she took some stuff from me that I'll never be able to get back, and touch me in ways that I wasn't experienced with, didn't really know much about, taught me some things I didn't know. And so after that, I got really mad at the Lord, and I was like, God, you you did this. You could have helped me, but you didn't. You knew what she was doing and how this has messed up my mind. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do whatever Casey wants to do. And so after that, I started messing around with girls in a way, just trying to do whatever I could to take from them what she took from me,
Mm.
as a way to get them back. And so I ended up getting caught when I was 17. And because I got caught, I had lost everything. My dad took my phone. He took me off the basketball team. He took my clothes. He sold my clothes. So it was like I pretty much lost everything. So all I could do was go to school, come home, and like do schoolwork or whatever. And I'm a very like smart person, like a smart kid. So like I wasn't even having schoolwork to do. And so in that time, I found out about pornography. I had already seen porn a little bit before, but this was definitely to a whole nother level, because a lot of times when we're bored and there's nothing to do, we
Mm.
find solace in addictions. You know what I'm saying? Gambling, drugs. For me, it happened to be pornography. And so when I was this is when I was 17. So every single day I would go to school, I would come home, and I would watch porn, masturbate, those different type of things. And it was really bad that it was happening every day, and sometimes it would be like 2 times a day. You know what I'm saying? It's like just this huge cycle. And so then, because of all those experiences, when I ended up rededicating my life to God, I was able to cut out pretty much every single, like a lot of the sins that I was doing. So I stopped cussing, I stopped listening to secular music, I stopped smoking weed. I used to be a huge stoner. I stopped smoking weed. So like all those things, but I couldn't break lust. I couldn't break sexual
Mm.
sin. You know what I'm saying? I desired it so much. And so that was the whole focus of that song. I never thought I would really make a song talking about what I went through, talking about what she did to me and how that led to like the mindset that I had for a long time. But I want to thank God that he was able to free me. I got accountability. I really said that I didn't want to live in this sin anymore. I didn't want to be that person anymore, because what sexual sin does and what a lot of sin does is it brings shame and it brings guilt. And so after you do it, you feel very relieved for that time period. You're like, man, woo, I really just need to let one go. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
then after the fact, like 20 minutes goes by, you're like, dang, I really just did what I just did. You know what I'm saying? I just wasted so much time. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Just,
literally.
yeah, sometimes you waste, hour, 2 hours,
2 hours, 3 hours. Man,
hours, yeah, just trying to just have something that lasts for 10 seconds. You know what I'm saying?
dang, bro, that's a great perspective to put it in. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and a lot of times we don't think about that, but we always, what helped me was a mindset of the end result. So if I do this, what is the end result going to be? How's this going to make me feel? How's it going to make my family feel, my church feel? If I want to get in a future relationship, I can't take this into the relationship that I'm in, right? Because I'm going to have to be hiding it from, God, because we think we're hiding it from God, but he knows, you know what I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
it's hidden. It's a secret sin. So when you bring that sin to the light, when you're able to finally tell someone and be truthful about it and transparent and open about it, that's when you can start to experience freedom. And so that really helped me when I was able to tell my dad, and that was tough. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dad, I'm struggling with pornography, and I really need help. Can you help me? Can you stay on top of me? And when that started happening, when I started being open to my brothers in Christ as well, and telling them about it, I started sensing and getting freedom from the sin. So
Mm.
that's and I want to tell people, even if you're a woman, because ladies struggle with pornography and masturbation as well. It's not just used to be thought of as just a guy thing, but it's not. There are a lot of women out there that struggle with pornography and struggle with masturbation, but there is freedom in Christ. But you have to be willing to go through the hits and bruises and go through the process of seeing yourself free. If you don't go through the process, then you'll never be free.
Mm. That's good, man. That's good. Thanks for breaking that down. Thanks for sharing that testimony, man. That was good. That was really good. There's a lot of things to point back to and break down in that. And I think, bro, the temptation and lust of pornography and sexual sin, bro, I feel like that's the number one drug, or not number one drug. It's like the biggest drug it
Yeah,
in America or in the world in general,
yeah.
man. And it's so hard to break free from because, like you said, bro, you were not cussing anymore. You weren't smoking weed anymore, but lust, that one was such a hard one to like break free from.
Because it's so accessible and it's free. That's the thing. Well, it's not free because your time is wasted. But in terms of like money wise, unless you're like a fiend and you're paying for sex or like paying for pornography, which you don't have to do, like it's free. You know what I'm saying? All you have to do is get on your smartphone, get on your computer, go on, different sites or whatever, and boom, it's right there in your face. And I mean, we're seeing kids as young as like 7, 8 years old finding out about pornography. And for me, that's scary. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
generation of children coming up, from TikTok and Instagram, these models being thrown into your face, making it seem like this sexuality to be, underdressed or have no clothes on is acceptable, but it's not. That's not how, it should be. And so one thing we have to do is start transforming and changing our mindset. And that's, why we have to be on guard and help these young kids coming up, let them know the dangers, let them know that, just because it seems good now and you don't feel like you're affected now, these videos that you're watching at 12, 13 years old, your mind isn't truly developed yet. So you're having all these images hit you, boom, 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 boom. Your
Mm-hmm.
mind isn't ready for it yet. These images are going to be stuck with you for the rest of your life. I mean, I still remember the first porn video I ever watched. I still remember some videos like it was yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Just because of how my mind has had these images just boom, 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 plugged into it. And our mind, our brain is so like sticky. You know what I'm saying? Once something
Yeah,
comes in, it sticks, so we have to allow God to transform it. You know what I'm saying? And change our mindset and process.
bro, that's big. Thank you for your openness to speak on this and your vulnerability to speak on this, man. Because I feel like as men, especially, we're
Yep.
very secretive. We don't
Yes.
like to tell our emotions. We like to bottle it up. We don't like
Yep.
to
Facts.
share with other people. And
Yes.
I commend you for doing that, man. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, we don't, like you said, we don't want help. You know what I'm saying? We're always, DIY. We always do it yourself. You know what I'm saying? I don't
Yeah,
need to.
prideful. It's that pride mentality too.
Yes, yes, yes. So true, bro. That pride mentality, not wanting to allow other people to help you or, like pray for you is like always, I got to do it myself. I got to be the one that's in charge. And it's like once we surrender to God's will, He's the one that's in charge, not us. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
your facts with that, bro. That's huge, bro. Realizing you got to let go of that pride. That's a huge thing.
Yeah, bro. And so just kind of looking back on your journey about how you broke free, what are some practical steps that someone who is, addicted or someone who's struggling against it, what are some tips that you would encourage and give them?
Um, One, it's probably about 5 tips that helped me. One, truly spending time with the Lord. That helped me because I know um getting into my Bible, reading, praying, worshiping, those are huge. So getting that relationship with the Lord. Two, accountability. So I know a lot of people get like internet filters. I have internet, like not internet filters, but I have accountability program. So find one that works for you. There's things such as Covenant Eyes that works very well. I use Accountable to You. It's like a 1099 month thing or whatever, but it works because it sends your everything you log on to, it sends a report to the people that you have signed up with it. So I have very good friends that I have signed up. So they always get my internet access and then it flags them if I go on something that might be seemed, weird or something like that. So, accountability, internet filters, you can count that as like a third one. Fourth one, um, is constant fleeing. So that's a huge
Mm,
thing. So if you are near, near something that might make you fall, you're watching either a movie or a TV show or something like that. If you feeling tempted, turn it off. Don't watch it no more. You know what I'm saying? Run away from it. And then that goes with number 5, cutting off all things that because there's a scripture in Matthew 5, it says, you know what I'm saying? You have to cut off your hand if it's causing
mhm.
you to sin. Because you would rather have one hand and go to heaven than have 2 hands and go to hell. So I mean, in the literal sense, not actually cutting off your hand, but what Jesus is saying is cut off all those things that can lead you to temptation or lead you to fall. So, I mean, if you have a computer in your room and you know that you fall a lot of times on the computer, get rid of your computer or take it out of your room. If you have a phone and you prone to watch on your phone, get a flip phone. I know I got a friend, he got a flip phone for like six
Mm,
months just so that he could,
mm.
get rid
Wow.
of this. So do whatever steps are necessary to be free, to rid yourself of the sin. So those are my tips, man. And they've worked really, really well for me. So,
That's good, man. That's good. Because I know for myself, bro, I struggle against it too, and I'm overcoming it as well. Like I'm going through this devotional about overcoming this addiction.
yeah.
And bro, like this devotional on the Bible, you version that, bro, it goes crazy. I can share it with
Yeah.
you too if you like, just to kind of refresh yourself with it. But it's breaking down the science behind how we get our dopamine
Yep.
and how I don't remember exactly what it was, but it's like it has to deal with the prefrontal cortex.
Cortex. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's just a whole lot of science and psychology
Yeah.
infused in that Bible plan that I'm learning. I'm like, wow, this is it's crazy. It's
Because like you said, like the science, like even people that aren't Christians, a lot of them are realizing the dangers of pornography, how it's messing up the brain. You know what I'm saying? How
mhm,
like you said, that dopamine, you keep going for that fix, but yet the dopamine is running short. Like with any drug, now you have to get more and more in order to feed the fix. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
first started, you could maybe watch porn for like 10 minutes and then get your fix and then be like, woo, that feels so good. But now it's like, I used to do 10 minutes. I got to expand more to try to get that fix, that hit that you had when you first started. That's that dopamine. That's that science. You're trying to get back to that original hit over and over and over again. Like, with heroin or cocaine or, whatever, you're trying to go back to that first original hit. And you can't, you know what I'm saying? You can't.
Yeah.
You're low on dopamine. That's also how, because I used to work in a pharmacy, that's also how erectile dysfunction
Mhm.
happens, because you change your body and your mind so much on the images that when you get in an actual relationship and you're ready to have, sex with your wife, you can't perform the way you want to because all you have is images up there. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? And so that's something that we have to be aware of too. Pornography leads to ED, erectile dysfunction.
Yeah.
Pornography leads to sex trafficking, human trafficking, like these different things. So we have to be aware of the penalties, the consequences that occur because of pornography.
Bro, that's facts. Something I tell myself too, that it's not real. It's a
Yeah,
fantasy. It's
it's a
not
fan.
reality
It's not reality. This is not this
because
sex really is.
like, bro, something that I've realized for myself when I've been dealing with it and like struggling against it, uh it's become a fantasy in my mind where I feel like I'm the man, I'm that guy,
Yeah,
like these women are doing what I want them to do for me, basically, or I'm putting myself in that position of
yeah,
the guy in the video or something like that. And it's dangerous, bro. It's dangerous because
yeah,
that's not how we're supposed to be designed for, like you and me, we believe that sex is sacred, it's for married couples only
mm-hmm,
because uh I mean, and this is going into a whole another topic with premarital sex.
yeah,
But with that, it's like when you do have sex with someone who you're not married to, and then if you break up, you still have that soul tie between them. Like
yeah,
you still have the soul tie between each other, and just kind of relating that to porn. It's like in a way, it's kind of like you're creating a fake soul tie with the person on the screen. And
yeah,
then, like you said, you have images of them in your mind. So when you do have sex with your wife, then it's not the same. It's not how it's not 100% satisfactory, if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah. Because you're thinking of the images you've seen, and then of course, you want your wife to do what you've seen. I want you to be this way. I want you to do this to me. I want you to say this, do this, and it's like, yo, that's not how it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be you're when sex is more than just like physical, it's emotional, it's spiritual, it's mental. You're connecting with someone that God has predestined, ordained for you to be with. You know what I'm saying? So you need to share those experiences with that one person. That whole thing should be you and her together with God coming together. You know what I'm saying? But because of things like pornography or premarital sex with other people, it messes up our whole mindset because we go in there, and if we're not completely free from it, if we're still living that way, then while we're having sex with our wife, we're thinking of other things. You know what I'm saying? We're
Mhm.
thinking of, I gotta do it like this in order to orgasm, or I have to, she has to say this or whatever, these different things. And it's like, no, like cut that other crap out. You know what I'm saying? Be free from it and walk in this new life with your wife. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
hopefully kids, or even if you don't have kids, just you and her. You know what I'm saying? Just walking with the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Ministering to each other, praying for one another. Speaking and worshiping with one another. You know what I'm saying? And not having these other distractions and sin in the way. You know what I'm saying? So you're completely right with that, man. It's serious, man. It's serious. We got to be more serious about our approach to it, for real.
Oh yeah, bro. It's definitely serious because there's definitely the temptation of like for myself, I found myself in the temptation where it's like already looking at the image, I'm like, I'm already this far, might as well just do it,
Off.
just jack
Facts.
off, yeah. but it's dangerous. I can't think like that anymore. I have to be like,
Yeah.
no, like push these and I'm be like, huh, like Kendrick Lamar.
That's true. That's true. That's true. You can't think like that no more. No, facts, facts, facts. That is so true. I like that. I like that for sure.
Huh, huh.
Anyway, yeah, facts.
Go with more force, like,
Yeah, facts.
get away from me.
Yeah,
Oh
toss it,
man.
real.
Yeah,
Toss in the
man. Something with what you said too about having accountability and having people to talk to like your dad. And I have a friend that I talk to, I'm open with about it. And just going back to the idea of men being so secretive and just not wanting to share emotions. I feel like just sharing emotions in general as men, and especially with lust, is the biggest challenge a man can overcome.
yeah.
Like, I think it's the biggest, if not one of the biggest challenges a man should overcome. And I remember way back in my high school too. So I went to a Christian Lutheran high school, and there was a speaker there. He was, or it was a senior of his class or
Hmm.
senior of the school, and he talked about lust and porn addiction. And then I remember I was like a freshman. I was struggling with it at the time too. So I remember he said something about it's hard. You got to speak to someone. In my mind, I was thinking like, nah, I don't need to. It was that, DIY mentality. I'm like, nah, I don't need to. But then it wasn't until I want to say like either sophomore or junior or senior year of college. It's very blurry, but it was during that time in college where I was like, okay, I gotta speak to someone about this. This is
Yeah, it's
it's
just gone on
such
too far.
it's such a time waster. It's like you said, like 2 to 3 hours of your time, man. You gotta talk to someone.
Yeah,
And for the people that think that they just need to keep it in themselves, no, don't keep it in yourself, man. Like, man or woman, don't keep it in yourself. You gotta talk to
yeah.
someone about it, be honest. And I remember we had this small group. It was senior year of college, small group for this church. It was called Men's Real Talk. We talked
Hmm.
about lust and overcoming porn addiction. And then it was just me and a bunch of other young men, like I want to say like 8 to 9 people. We're just coming together, talking about it. The two youth pastors there were talking about it, about their story, about overcoming it. And then they just opened up the floor to anyone else who wanted to talk. And there was, I want to say 10, 15 seconds of silence. And then I don't say this to brag at all, but I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to share my story. And then after that, you know, one person told their story, and then another person told their story, and then another person told their story. Bro, it all starts with one person. And when you tell your story, you don't realize how many other people in the room deal with the exact same problem you have.
Exactly. Exactly. That's huge. That's huge. I mean, for real, because, like you said, it wants to stay hidden, wants to stay isolated, wants to stay secretive. So a lot of times we're not going to just openly just say like, yeah, hey, I'm struggling with pornography. You know what I'm saying? Hey, like, the anonymous means that's why they're anonymous. Cause it's like, hey, I'm KC and I struggle with pornography. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
that's why it's anonymous meetings because a lot of people aren't willingly, especially guys, like you said, are willing to open up. But that's huge that you were willing to just be like, you know what, bump it. I know I got to talk about it. Something I struggle with, something I'm dealing with. I got to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? The Bible even says that, bring your sins to the light. You know what I'm saying? So you can find freedom, that type of
Mm.
stuff. So that's huge, man. That you were willing to just be like, look, I got a problem or whatever, or I struggle with it. And I want some help. I want people that are around me. And then guys will be like, oh snap, he struggles too. I never would have guessed. Me too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I need help. You know what I'm saying? Man, this is something I've been struggling with for a year. So I'm struggling with for 10, 20 years. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's huge, man. It's huge. So hey, good for you for doing that for sure.
Yeah, bro. Thank you. Yeah, there's so much freedom and just like you said, that Bible verse about I don't remember what exactly it was, but if you don't if you don't tell people your sins or what you've done wrong, then you'll never find freedom. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
that's facts. That's like
yeah. Facts.
we
Proverbs.
have to
Yeah,
talk it out, man.
facts.
Man, that's good, man. This feels good to talk about, just to get off our chest and to share. And man, I appreciate your openness and vulnerability to speaking about it and to speak about it with confidence because you know that you're free from it. I feel like that's
Yeah,
why so many people don't want to speak about it because some people haven't found that freedom about it.
yeah,
And I think that that's why so many people are just, guilty or shameful because they haven't found that freedom yet.
yeah,
But speaking, like, the first step to freedom is just like speaking out against it, or just like
yep,
speaking up about your own story is what I've
yep.
realized. I'm like,
It's huge. It's huge.
yeah. All right, Casey. So now I want to get to the part of the podcast where I want to ask you what's something that's on your mind. I want LKD Talks to be a weekly journal entry per se. So what is something that's light, heavy, or just something random that's on your mind this past week?
Um, ooh, definitely just continuing to grow up. So this week I've been on spring break, so I haven't really done anything. I've just been laying around in bed. I haven't gone out really, haven't no vacation. This is my first like spring break, like paid vacation since I was like 18 years old. So about almost about 8 years ago. So it's been a while. But just growing up. So like I said, I'm a teacher and I'm recently going to a different school and going to be teaching older students. So I went to school to teach middle school, but a job opened up at a very good school that I actually graduated from my high school um, to teach history for 10th and 11th grade, which history is my favorite thing. I love history. I love learning about history. Just love it. So what's been helping me is talking about just growing up, realizing getting stuff in place, and realizing that I want to have a family, I want to, have a wife, have kids, and I want to be able to provide and care for them. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind if like my wife works or whatever, but at the same time, like I want to be bringing stuff home to the table. So I'm getting ready to start my master's program in August. So just a whole lot of like more growing up stuff to do as I'm getting older, learn more about credit, my 401k. I've been, putting money into my 401k so that when I retire, I have that stuff already acclimated. So I'll be fine. My family will be fine. So like just those different things, learn about growing up and learn about who I am more as a man of God. So I'm a minister at my church as well. And I teach the youth and I also preach some Sundays as well for the congregation. So growing deeper in my relationship with God and, realizing how much I have to continue to put away childish things. I mean, I'm saying there's scripture that says when I was a child, I thought as a child, I did childish things, but as I've matured, as I've grown, I put away the childish things to pursue more adult things, right? So as I've been growing up, pursuing more adult things that God has for me, pursuing more things for my future and getting that just set up. So, that's just me, but it's because I'm 26 and I'm old. So
Yeah.
I gotta look at all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 21, 22-year-old me would be worried about, maybe a video game or something like that. But, 26-year-old me is like, I gotta be focused on things for the future, getting money in place, life in place. I live in a house. I'm thankful. Me and my roommate, we live in a house. So, and bills are paid. So like things are good. You know what I'm saying? My car is paid off. So like, I'm very blessed in that aspect. But what's the next step? How can I continue to grow as a man? So yeah.
That's big, bro. Thanks for sharing that. And yeah, thanks for sharing that because I feel like a lot of people who watch this are young men,
Yeah.
especially. So that's big, man. So what are some examples of childish things that you've learned to just put away?
Um, that's tough. So sometimes for sure I would watch just TV or like YouTube just because I wasn't doing anything. So just for the sake of just watching something. But as I've gotten older, I've been like, I got to spend more time with my Bible and my word. So for sure, just spending more time with Jesus. And I might not even be reading my Bible, but just spending time sitting there, just worshiping him, having worship music or, just some piano music playing in the background, just praying and just seeking him. So like, that's huge. Also not, I haven't been, I used to be huge. Like when I say huge into sports, like huge, like I said, I love history. So like, I would definitely know like all the basketball history, different stats, all that stuff. But as I've gotten older, I've been like, I don't really need all this like basketball knowledge and stuff like that. Like, of course I still have it. I watch a game from time to time, maybe, but I'm not actively seeking out to spend more time in sports because like, when I get married and stuff like that, I'm not going to be able to just have that time to just be, sports, or sports. You know what I'm saying? Or this TV show, this movie, or whatever. Spending more time doing things that fill my time wisely. You know what I'm saying? Spending more time doing music. I used to, maybe do music like, 30 minutes a day or something like that, or maybe like 15 minutes a day. And then the rest of the time I spend watching like a TV show or something like that, or, looking at YouTube videos. If I was watching an anime, looking at YouTube videos about the tier list, you know what I'm saying? It's My Hero Academia tier list, you know what I'm saying? Like
Heroes
those
go
different,
crazy.
yeah, dude, they go crazy. But at the same time, it's like, is this really a good way to spend my time at the moment? Like I'm watching a 59-minute video on tier list, you know what I'm saying? I could be spending that time or working on music, listening to different beats that I like, or just asking God what he wants me to put into it. So those are some things that I've been really putting away and growing with, is spending my time wisely and spending my money wisely, not buying like crazy shoes or, different things. It's like, if I'm going to spend this money, it has to be an investment. So if I'm going to spend this $100 for music, it has to be an investment. I think I can make this back or something close to it. If I spend this money on shoes, it's because I ran out of shoes and I need to get some new shoes, not just because, dang, these shoes are really fire and I just want to get them. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to really be smart and intentional with how I spend my money, how I spend my time. So saying all that to say 2 words: be intentional. So when you're on Instagram, when you're on TikTok, be intentional. Don't just be on there just scrolling just to scroll. Don't just make content just to make content. Be intentional with what you're doing. Be intentional with your time. Be intentional with your content. Be intentional with your prayer life, with your reading. 2 words: be intentional. Boom. That's it.
That's good, bro. That's good. So just adding on to that, just kind of challenge you. How did you learn to be intentional? Was it just through growing up, or were there other factors that played into it?
Um, yeah, growing up, but other factors, I think. So, last year and probably like last year in June, I hadn't, I hadn't touched myself or anything in good minute. I think it was like a couple of years. It was a couple of years, and I got really heavily attacked that night. And I woke up and I was justifying touching myself. I was justifying it. I was like, yo, I know other Christians or whatever, they curse, or other Christians, they watch these movies and I don't watch them or whatever, or they listen to this music and I don't listen to it. I was like, I deserve me just a little bit of KC time. You know what I'm saying? So like, start touching myself, and I wasn't even watching porn. I was just thinking about things that I had done before, and I was just like, I'm just trying to justify it. And so after I like touched myself for a little bit, I was like feeling really convicted because I knew what I was doing was wrong. So I like stopped and I texted my friends too, and I did, and it was so hard. But I said, yo, I just was touching myself, and I wanted to let y'all know that I was, thinking of masturbating and stuff like that. And I'm sorry, guys, for what I did, and I know I sinned. And they were super loving. But one of my friends, he's loving as heck, but he'll tell it to me straight, because that's the type of person that he is, and you need those people to tell it to you straight. And he was like, bro, I was up. Why didn't you text me? Why didn't you call me to let me know that you were going through this? He was like, yo, you're growing up. You can't keep doing these childish things. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, facts. I was like, that's just true. I was like,
That's
yo,
good.
the grown up, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I can't be that anymore. I can't, when it gets tough, especially like years ago, when it would get tough, when I would like have to study or like I would be like anxious, my coping mechanism would be like porn or masturbation. Like that would be my coping.
Hmm.
And so as I've grown up, I haven't had to cope with that anymore. I like go to God for it. And so that that whole night completely changed like my mindset. I was like, yo, I can't go back. I don't want to go back. I gotta grow up, like even more so now. You know what I'm saying? And of course, there's gonna be days where we sin because we're not perfect and God knows that. But at the same time, what's our heart really saying? Are we really repentant for what we've done, or are we just trying to justify it or whatever and try to go back to the sin? And so I was like, yo, like I can't go back. And so after that, it was like grow up time. So I started
Hmm.
after that moment, everything just started falling into like a whole lot of place. Graduated school, got a teaching job, just all these different things started lining up. And I have an EP that's coming out at the end of this month. And I'm super excited because it talks about some of the I know like a lot of my music is really like lit and like happy sounding sometimes or whatever, but like this whole project is talking about the anxiety that I felt about graduating because I didn't think I was going to graduate, the anxiety I felt about getting a new job, that night of lust, talking about that, doing what I want to do and not what God wants me to do. So all those instances, like I'm putting into music about how I've grown up over these past, I'll say year, definitely, and how God has really changed my mindset a whole lot, and how I've grown into the man of God that like He's called me to be, and I'm super super thankful for that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's
Wow.
that instant, that night really changed my mindset a whole lot, and yeah, I thank God for it because I thank God for because He's my best friend. I thank God for Him every day because He shot it to me straight and He was serious
Hmm.
and he was real with it. And that's that type of love that you need sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Someone will tell it to you straight.
Man, amen, man. That's so good. That's so good,
Yep.
man. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, man. Thank you for sharing
Yep.
that. Because
Facts, facts.
it makes me think, man, like we need friends who are growing up. We need friends who are
Real.
trying to be a man, you know. We
Yep.
need friends who are not, scrolling endlessly or I'm just saying that for an example. We need friends
Yep.
who are fruitful and productive and they're winning so that we can win too. Because
Yeah.
if we surround ourselves with, for lack of a better word, losers, then
Yeah.
we're gonna lose.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. It's gonna be a whole lot tougher for you to get to where you need to be. Like you're gonna either have to make a decision. I can stay with these friends and stay on the same level that I've always been at, or I can choose to either cut these friends off or help them grow. But I gotta get to where I need to be. You know what I'm saying? I gotta
Right.
either grow or I gotta go. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, you gotta grow or you gotta go. Woo! I like that.
That's
Yeah, that's good, man. Hey, Casey, I enjoy this conversation that we have, man. Appreciate having you on, man. Is there anything that you like to plug? Any socials?
Uh, you can find me everywhere at KC Music One, TikTok, Instagram. Just you can find me on YouTube at K-SEE. Yeah, that's literally how you find me. I'm more active on Instagram than I am on any social media. But I do TikToks from time to time. I find myself, like you said, a way of growing up. I find myself making sure that like I've never been a big TikTok person, so I have to uh plug in my boy Emmanuel LKD. His TikToks are amazing. Go watch them. Definitely brings a realness and just funny stuff to the platform. Love the anime videos that you do. Love the culture that you do videos. Those are always awesome for sure as well. And I just love the you just allowing me to be here and for us to talk about deep topics, talk about funny topics, and just have a great time. So I'm shamelessly plugging the host, Emmanuel LKD. Y'all make sure y'all go support the man, the myth, the legend, the boy, for sure. And he makes music too, if y'all don't know. and his music is really, really good. And he does it all for the Lord, and he puts his experiences and into it. So y'all make sure y'all go check his music out for sure. And go stream, go watch the podcast, go watch everything, go support the boy.
Yeah, yo, y'all support the boy KC, Yo, I just want to show love back, man. Give you your flowers, man. Yo, again, congrats on what's up for hitting 500K. Check out the new song, Marianne Mosby. Yo, Casey's doing big things for the kingdom, for his church, for his family, for his community. Yo, man, we love to see it. And hope y'all enjoy this podcast episode, and hope y'all stay safe. Peace out and take care, y'all.